All right, Jaedong versus Shuttle, and it is going to be on Circuit Breaker. So, two of my favorite players. Honestly, Shuttle hasn't been playing as well as we expected of him, especially for an ASL champion, right? An ASL champion, you expect him to be a god, right? But unfortunately, he hasn't quite been on a high level since winning. I recently read a quote from him. I'm not sure if this is like 100% true because like I heard this like secondhand, but I heard a quote from him saying that he thinks that Bisu is the best Protoss player of all time, period. Because even if he's not on form right now, he's still nobody can do what he can do against Protoss, or sorry, against Zerg. Nobody in the world can do what he can do against Zerg, and so he really wants to see Bisu stream so that he can stream more often, so he can figure out what the hell to do against Zerg. Because apparently this is a very difficult matchup for Protoss players to figure out. My opinion is you just scout better. That's really all it takes to scout better and do your decision trees better. Because even though the early game can be challenging for Protoss, as long as you have a good decision trees, you know what you're scouting for and exactly what the right response is, you're going to be in decent shape. The problem is that a lot of Protoss players, I think, get a little bit complacent with their scouting. They think, I should just be able to hold this with X amount of cannons or whatever. And there are a lot of tight positions that you might find yourself in as a Protoss player, but still, you have to play smartly. You can't just expect the game to be nice to you earlier on. So Schlick Laker also says, I'm living near a hospital and a traffic light. Good combo, I tell you. I believe it. I believe it. I think I'm actually next to a bunch of hospitals too. Like Atlanta has a ton of hospitals. It's insane. But I'm not like right next to one, so I guess it's worth it. Oh, is this a cannon rush? It gets scouted by Jaedong, so Jaedong knows this is happening, but Shuttle being cheeky, he's going to be going for the cannon rush over here. I'm not sure if that's actually blocked off right now. Oh, this is so cool. He's actually going to cancel that and try to move the drones behind that and get on top of this. If he can get one drone behind there, he can cancel it, prevent that from actually going down. He managed to get one drone back there, but alas, they weren't actually able to get there in time to actually stop it. He's going to continue to try to glitch behind there and get more units back, more drones back there. And this is actually so cool. He's just sending them in one at a time, drone after drone. And did he even make a spawning pool? I have no idea what that extra sound is. I guess somebody just turned out on the music for one of the streams. But he does manage to actually stop the cannon from going down. That was actually a really cool strategy. He does have a couple of drones that are trapped behind that one pylon though, so maybe this ends up being actually kind of alright. Actually, all the drones trapped in between that middle line. This is so clever coming out from Shuttle right now. I'm not sure that it's that good though, because he spent so much money on trying to do that, all those blocks and that cannoning, that he's not going to have a whole lot at home. And you really need two cannons to deal with this many Zerglings coming across the map. If he only has one cannon, it's not going to be enough to actually kill off these lings before they get into the main base. Really nice surround attempt over there by Jaedong. He's going to try to get in here right now. The two cannons are still building. One is going to go down for sure. The other one's still alive. And with good micro, Shuttle might be able to hold on for a little bit while. He's going to have to make a secondary cannon, but luckily Jaedong not going all in on this. He's actually just going to go for the drones back at home, wait before he goes all in. But these pros basically have to be on call 24/7 to make sure that this cannon doesn't go down, to make sure these lings don't get up the ramp. If the lings get up the ramp, the game is basically over. But it was so far really good blocks from Shuttle, and even though he didn't actually kill off those last two lings, they're so low that they can't really do any significant damage. They can still continue to be annoying, but yeah, one pro was actually just going to walk up here fearlessly and try to kill these off. Because they're so low. He's actually, oh, that was such an amazing surround. The worker micro from Shuttle being very impressive so far this game. Jaedong's going to be going for that third base, so not surprising to see that at all. Are we going to be seeing, wow, actually Jaedong going for 4 hatch behind this, so he's going to be going very heavily into the unit production coming up pretty soon. There's a Hydra Den, so we are going to be having the 4-hatch Hydra bust, apparently. I don't know if you can actually afford Hydras on this amount of economy. Maybe he's going to be focusing on getting a ton of drones up while he's getting his Hydra upgrades. Maybe that's definitely a possibility, but at some point you have to just make sure that you're being careful about spending too much into that. And this is what I'm talking about, though. If you look at the Protoss player, what does Shuttle see right now? The answer is absolutely nothing. Sending out a probe right now. I'm not sure why the probe is going to the top left corner. Maybe this is to hide it. Maybe he... I don't know. It's pretty unusual to send that probe all the way up there. Maybe he's looking for the additional Zerg base, trying to see if it's in a faraway position, seeing if it's in a funky place that might be a little bit tricky. But Jaedong just going for the close by bases. He's going to be going very heavily into the Hydra production pretty soon once he gets these 3 bases saturated. And actually, it's going to be the full 5-hatch Hydra, so tons and tons of Hydra is going to be coming out pretty soon. The Stargate just now finishing, and the first Corsair is going to have to do some serious scouting to find out what's going to be going on in Jaedong's base. And what is this? Is this a hidden base for Shuttle? What is this? What? Okay, well, this is super weird. So Shuttle is going to be going for a hidden base up in that 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, a bunch of links coming out across the map, a few Hydras following behind. The cannons are going to be up early enough so that the Hydras can't just like straight up walk in and win the game. It's going to be enough to prevent them from just straight up winning the game, but they are going to cause some problems in terms of just sniping this front wall. And so the first gateway and the Forge are definitely going to go down as long as Jaedong's positioning is very, very good. And meanwhile, the first Corsair across the map trying to do some harassment, being annoying. It might even kill off an Overlord if nothing gets here in time, but looks like that is actually going to be pushed away for now. And going actually up to 6 hatches, that's actually insane to see that many hatches from the Zerg player this early on. But at this point on, like at this point, honestly, Jaedong is just doing so well that he feels really comfortable with going very heavily into the economy, going very heavily into his production, and just preparing for a very good mid game. So really cool stuff. Love to see this out from him. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't just go for the 4th base with that 6th hatch, but instead he just wants to play it a little bit safe. He wants to make sure that he's fully 100% saturated so that he can completely annihilate his opponent later on down the road. And meanwhile, what is going on in Shuttle space? Shuttle basically just having to hide behind a gigantic wall of cannons and almost no units out on the map for Shuttle. He's just got that one Corsair that's trying to harass. He's trying to get out his first DTs to do some harassment and push back this force at the front. But there's an Overlord there. Sorry to break it to you, but you're not going to be able to do anything with DTs while your opponent still has that Overlord out in front. But it looks like actually it was the High Templar instead. He's just going to try to break out using Storm, but with only Storms and absolutely no gateway units, it's still going to be a tall task for him to actually get out of here. Luckily, he did have that hidden 3rd base from earlier, and Jaedong hasn't been scouting very much, so he doesn't know that this 3rd base has actually gone up. And at this point, Shuttle could actually just sit back and relax, tech up until his 3rd base gets found. I'm actually really surprised that Jaedong has been so lax on his scouting. The entire top half of the map is completely unscouted. He must think that he has an insane advantage that that he can't lose from, but this is the one way that you lose. It's just by not scouting. In fact, I remember a game where I played against my friend, and I was playing Zerg versus Terran. Zerg versus Terran, and like I was playing out the game, and I had him contained on 2 bases for a super long time, and I was like, this is over, man. I've got this. And suddenly he had this gigantic ass army, and I'm like, what the hell? How does he have this much stuff? And then I found out that he expanded right next to me. He expanded right next to me, and I just lost it, man. Oh, actually, no, it was a PVZ. It was a PVZ, and he was Zerg, and he scattered. I scattered every single base on the map except for my third base, and that's the one that he took. And I just like, oh my gosh, that killed me. And then in another one, I was playing TVZ versus him. And I was scouting out around the map for the third base. I checked every single base on the map, and then he just ran me over with 2 base ultras. It was hilarious. Because I spent so much time just searching around the map, just trying to find that base, because I was like, surely he's trying to take a third base. But nope, he never planned to take a third base. Oh god. In any case, we just need Beetle out for Jaedong. He's going to try to snipe as many of these Templars as possible. And I guess no storms go down. Only that one storm went down. And losing 2 High Templar for that, not ideal at all. But the Beetles are quite weak from this point on. So they're going to have to take a break for a little while until they can get their their HP back up. Jaedong only now taking the 4th. And this is one of those things where I wonder... You really need to actually scout that base. Wait, did that Link just actually run by the base earlier? Oh my god. Did that Link actually run by the base up in the 12 o'clock and not see it? Oh my god. When this is over, I'm gonna rewind to that one part just to see how hilarious that was. I cannot believe that was not actually scouted out. Oh my god, that's awful. So, 3 bases up for Protoss. Normally this is a spot where as a Zerg player, you're like, oh, he's like 100% dead. He's just gonna die. I'm just gonna pick off a couple more High Templars. Like it's not bad for me at all because like I have so much economy. Like I can actually honestly just like throw units at my opponent. Jaedong hasn't even been teching. He's just been building up tons and tons of Hydras versus his opponent. So at this point, like he doesn't really have any realistic tech. He just has these Mutalists, and losing a couple for free right there. He has no idea. Oh my god. Is this Shuttle the god? Is this Shuttle the god? Looks like Jaedong might actually just be going in for a huge attack right now. He's just going to try to go in and snipe as many of these High Templar as possible. And this is horrible. That was like a horrible trade, but he thinks he's so far ahead that he can deal with it. He's just now scouting that base, and at that point, you know, he's thinking, oh god, what have I done? What have I done? What do you mean there's a base up there? Oh god. The first time he actually saw it on his screen, and he's just going to send everything up there to try to kill it off, but I bet you he's so frustrated just realizing that there's been a third base up here this entire time. And you didn't see it. But the funny thing is, so like the interesting thing about this is the positioning of this is in such a way where it's difficult to get a large army in here. And by the time he does, it allows Shuttle to move out of his base, take another third base, and oh my god, there's even storms over here. Storms just blanking all over these Hydras. They should eventually be able to clean this up unless there are more storms, but I don't think there are. Eventually this is going to get cleaned out, but it's open Jaedong's natural to a counterattack if he's not careful. There's a lot of Protoss out on the map because of that third base economy. Shuttle's been farther ahead than he normally would be. And he's got a pretty scary army coming across the map right now. Jaedong's just going to have to spread his lurkers very, very nicely and micro very well, but this is a difficult army micro. He needs to focus down that observer. The observer's sitting out in front. You can see it very clearly, so as long as he's just paying attention and decides to actually click on it, he'll be in pretty good shape. But Storm's just blanketing everything. There's so many storms, and these Dragoons doing such a good job of picking off all of the lurkers, and that's pretty much it. Jaedong doesn't really have a whole lot left. He's going to continue to try to make units, but without that Hive Tech, he really just doesn't have anything to hold, and all of the lurkers are down at this point, even though it's just it's just a couple of High Templars and Dragoons, they're gonna do pretty well against anything Zerg-like, especially when all of the reinforcements are just gonna be a ton of Zealots. So this is looking really bad for Jaedong. All of a sudden, he sent maybe a little bit too much up there to actually kill off that third base, and as a result, he's paying for it by losing a ton of economy, a ton of lurkers out there on the front, in the front of the map. And now Protoss has high control of this high ground ramp over here. It's going to be very easy for him to just kind of rotate around here and prevent Jaedong from ever really getting in a good position to get a good flank. So big attack coming in right now. Another great storm coming down. Does he have another storm to follow it up? Jaedong's flank getting absolutely annihilated by the next couple of Zealots coming out across the map. And where is units? He doesn't have anything. He's trying to survive with a couple more lurkers, but there's just too much Protoss. When the Protoss has more units than you do as a Zerg player, you know things aren't good. You know things are really not good. He's continuing to try to reinforce, but these lurkers are going to go down, and the next couple wave of Zealots is coming in. That should seal the deal for Shuttle. There's the GG. Jaedong is probably so pissed.